What if the crushing silence between you and your twin flame right now isn't emptiness, but the universe holding its breath? Yeah, you heard me. That deafening quiet where their energy should be vibrating. That agonizing space where texts go unanswered and memories echo like shouts in a canyon. What if it's not a void, but a pregnant pause? A cosmic inhalation before the next staggering exhale of reunion. I know how it feels. Like your heart's been hooked to a car battery, set on slow zap. You check your phone like it's a holy relic, dissect past conversations like a forensic scientist, lie awake wrestling the same suffocating question. When does this end? And who, for the love of all things sacred, blinks first? It consumes you. It becomes the background hum to your every thought, the invisible weight bending your shoulders. You're obsessing over the symptom, the silence, the separation, convinced that the first move is the magic key hidden in their pocket or yours. Beautiful, weary soul, what if I told you the key isn't hidden over there at all? What if it's humming, right now, deep within the marrow of your own being, waiting for you to recognize its frequency? The separation isn't death, it's the catalyst for a profound, underground transformation. The reunion, the lush canopy flourishing once more, isn't triggered by one tree frantically waving a branch at the other. It's the inevitable, glorious bloom after the roots have done their sacred, silent work of finding their own profound depth. Your separation? It's your roots deepening, your sovereignty blooming in the dark, and that deep, resonant hum of self-sufficiency, that's the real first move the universe is listening for. Not a text, a vibration, a silent, seismic shift in your soul's bedrock. But here's where it gets truly fascinating, almost delightfully bizarre. What if the catalyst for the visible reunion, the sudden rainstorm ending the drought, making the lush bloom inevitable, doesn't come from either tree? And what if it arrives on the wind, carried by a bird neither tree expected, or is triggered by a distant forest fire whose smoke seeds the clouds? This is the realm of the spiritual gatekeeper, not a meddling gardener, but the subtle, brilliant choreographer of cosmic synchronicity, the shared lifequake that rocks you both simultaneously, cracking open old defenses, the mutual friend who, out of the blue, drops a seemingly casual comment that lands like a lightning bolt of insight. The song you associated with your first meeting suddenly playing everywhere they go the same week. The dream so vivid, it feels like a divine memo. These aren't random glitches. They're the gatekeeper's masterstroke, bypassing the tangled thorns of ego and fear you've both cultivated, delivering the perfect, neutral excuse, the serendipitous nudge that makes reaching out feel less like terrifying vulnerability and more like destiny simply unfolding. They dissolve the power struggle inherent in who makes the first move by making the move feel divinely ordained, whispered by the universe itself into your everyday reality. So the silence you're drowning in? It's not dead air, it's the fertile ground. The separation isn't a punishment, it's the sacred geometry of a soul contract you both signed in starlight, demanding specific, mutual growth before the next act begins. This journey isn't about waiting for them to change. It's about discovering the universe's astonishing blueprint for reunion, written not in their actions, but in the depths of your own becoming and the surprising language of the world humming around you. Ready to learn how to read it? The map is closer than you think. Let's talk about the relentless pull towards your twin flame, even in the deafening silence of separation. You're obsessing, aren't you? Checking your phone like it's a sacred relic, analyzing every past interaction for hidden clues, lying awake, wondering who caves first, who swallows their pride, their fear, their perfectly constructed narrative of who was wronged, and just reaches out. It feels monumental, this question of the first move. It feels like the hinge upon which your entire future happiness swings. But beautiful soul, what if I told you the real game changer, the actual first domino that sets the reunion in motion, happens in a place no one sees? It happens not in their DMS, but in the silent, vibrating core of your own being. It's not a text message, it's a frequency shift. It's energetic sovereignty, and it's the most powerful, mysterious, and utterly overlooked key to ending the standoff. Think about it like tuning forks. Remember those from school? You strike one, and if another nearby is tuned to the exact same frequency, it starts humming too, resonating without being touched. That's the twin flame connection in its purest form. A harmonic resonance. But during separation, one fork, let's say yours, is buzzing with a chaotic static. Neediness, desperation, fear. The frantic energy of when, how, who. It's like trying to resonate with a pure note while you're broadcasting heavy metal distortion. No wonder the other fork seems silent. It's not ignoring you, it literally can't pick up your signal clearly enough to respond in harmony. The distortion isn't just noise, it's a leak. You're energetically hemorrhaging your power, your wholeness out towards them. Every anxious thought, every tear shed in frustration, every late night stalk of their social media, it's all energy leaving you, pouring into the chasm of separation, feeding the very beast as you want to slay. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You pour and pour, your love, your longing, your hope, but the level never rises. The bucket remains empty, and you feel exhausted, drained, wondering why your efforts yield nothing. Here's the profound, almost counterintuitive magic. The true first move isn't reaching out. It's reaching in. It's the conscious, deliberate act of sealing those energetic leaks and tuning your own fork to a note of pure, unwavering wholeness. Sovereignty isn't just self-love, though that's part of it. It's deeper. It's the visceral, lived experience that you are complete, right now, not when they return, not when the separation ends. Now it's standing firmly in the center of your own existence, claiming your space in the universe, not as half of something, but as a radiant, self-sustaining whole. It's looking at the reflection in the mirror, the tired eyes, the hopeful heart, the messy humanity, and saying, you are enough. And whatever comes or doesn't come, this being right here is fundamentally okay, more than okay, worthy, whole. This isn't passive surrender, it's active, radical self-creation. It's building an inner citadel so strong that the storms of maybe and what if cannot breach its walls. Imagine building that fortress brick by brick. One brick is releasing the story that your happiness depends on them. Another brick is finding profound joy in your own company. That solo coffee date, that book you devour, that hobby that makes time vanish. Another brick is taking radical responsibility for your energy, catching yourself when you slip into obsessive loops and consciously choosing a different thought, a feeling of calm, a moment of gratitude for something else entirely. You stop broadcasting lack. you stop broadcasting need. You start broadcasting presence, wholeness, a serene, powerful completeness. And here's where the mystery deepens, the physics of the soul. When you achieve this state, this energetic sovereignty, you create something powerful, a vibrational vacuum. Not a vacuum of absence, but of serene fullness. You're no longer pulling on them energetically, no longer broadcasting that frantic "come back" signal that feels like psychic clinginess. You're just solid, radiant, still. It's like the chaotic ocean suddenly becoming a vast, calm, deep lake. The shift is palpable, not just to you, but to the entire energetic field connecting you. This profound inner shift is the first move. It's the universe registering a fundamental change in your energetic signature. It disrupts the old tired dance of chaser and runner, of push and pull. Your twin flame, on a soul level, feels this shift. It's not a thought process for them, it's a resonance shift. The ground beneath the old dynamic literally moves. Their soul recognizes the cessation of the leak, the emergence of your wholeness, and it creates a space often experienced as restlessness, unexpected memories, or a sudden, unexplainable sense of calm within them. The runner doesn't rationally decide to stop running. They feel the energetic landscape change because you changed your fundamental frequency. Your sovereignty becomes the silent, undeniable catalyst. It's like finally learning to stand perfectly balanced on one foot after wobbling for years. The effort is immense, internal, invisible to the outside world. But the result, that sudden, effortless stability, is undeniable. That stability, that inner balance, that's your sovereignty. That's the signal. That's the real, "Hey, I'm ready." Whispered not into a phone, but into the fabric of existence itself. And trust me, the universe has far better reception than any cellular network. So, the next time you catch yourself agonizing over who makes the first move, pause, take a deep, soul-filling breath. Ask yourself instead, where am I leaking my power? Where am I broadcasting lack instead of wholeness? Because that internal shift from seeking completion to embodying it is where the true reunion begins. It's the silent, sacred first move that happens long before any finger touches a keyboard. And it changes everything. But how do you know when you've truly reached that sovereign state? What does it feel like in the messy reality of daily life, beyond the lofty ideals? And what surprising, almost mundane signs might signal that your inner shift is starting to ripple out into their world? Perhaps in ways you wouldn't expect. We'll explore that quiet revolution next. Let's get brutally honest for a second. That agonizing silence, the feeling like you're stranded on some emotional tarmac while their plane just won't land. It's easy, so damn easy, to slip into the narrative of victimhood. They ran. They got scared. They aren't doing the work. They're blocking the reunion. It feels personal, like a cosmic injustice aimed squarely at your aching heart. You pour every ounce of your being into healing, meditating, affirming, journaling, and still, radio silence. Frustration simmers, resentment builds. Why isn't my readiness enough? You scream into the void, or maybe just your pillow. Beautiful soul, what if the answer lies not in their perceived failings, but in a breathtaking, rarely acknowledged truth? This separation isn't a punishment inflicted on you, nor is it solely due to their fear. It's a meticulously crafted sacred contract, co-signed by both of you before you even took your first breath here. Think of it like this. Imagine you're both extraordinary actors cast in the most demanding, transformative play of your soul's existence. The script? Your twin flame journey. The separation phase isn't a director's cruel whim or a co-star's flakiness. It's a specific, pivotal act written right into the damn thing. And here's the kicker. You both read the script beforehand. You saw this act. You understood its raw intensity, its potential for shattering old patterns and forging unprecedented strength. Soul deep, beyond the noise of the human ego and its fears, you agreed to it. You knew the plot required this temporary, agonizing split, not to break you, but to break open something essential within each of you that couldn't be accessed while clinging together in the old, familiar, maybe even comfortable dysfunction. The separation isn't a glitch, it's a critical scene. And the curtain only rises on the next act when both actors have truly embodied the transformation their characters needed to undergo in the dark. This shifts everything. It moves the question from the exhausting, blame-filled, "Why are they doing this to me?" to the profoundly empowering, albeit challenging, "What specific soul-level assignment am I here to complete during this intermission? And what might they still be working on?" See, the duration isn't arbitrary. It's not a test of your patience measured in celestial calendar days. It's the exact time needed for both souls to integrate the non-negotiable lessons coded into this phase of the contract. Maybe for you, it's mastering radical self-worth that isn't tied to external validation, especially theirs. Maybe it's dissolving deep, ancestral patterns of abandonment that would have poisoned the union. Maybe it's learning to stand sovereign in your power, as we talked about before. For them, it could be confronting paralyzing fear of vulnerability, or dismantling a fortress of emotional unavailability built over lifetimes, or simply learning to feel deeply without running for the hills. The contract details are unique, soul-specific, and often frustratingly opaque to our conscious minds. Here's where the mystery deepens, brushing against the profound. That first move everyone obsesses over in the physical world, the text, the call, the chance encounter, isn't the cause of reunion. It's merely the echo. The real reunion happens first in the unseen realms of the soul. It happens when both parties, often unconsciously, reach a critical energetic milestone. When the core karmic debt of this specific separation is paid. When the soul-level homework assigned for Act 2 is finally, genuinely complete. It's like two cosmic workers diligently hammering away on different parts of the same vast, intricate bridge. You can't see their progress, you just feel the agonizing gap. But the bridge only becomes passable when the last crucial bolt is tightened on both sides. Your intense longing, your impeccable inner work, it's tightening your bolts with fierce dedication. But if their side still has structural weaknesses, if their soul assignment isn't integrated, the bridge remains unstable. Rushing across it prematurely? That's how you get a spectacular, painful collapse back into separation. The contract demands both foundations be solid. So, surrender isn't waving a white flag of defeat. It's not passive waiting, it's active, fierce trust in the divine intelligence that orchestrated this sacred agreement. It's understanding that the delay isn't about your worthiness or the power of your love. It's about honoring the intricate, non-linear path of both souls evolving at the precise pace required for a union that lasts, that transcends the old cycles. When you shift from blaming their stuckness to trusting the perfection of their soul's journey within the contract, a weight lifts. You release the toxic energy of resentment. You stop peering over the cosmic fence, frustrated by the state of their construction site, and pour that energy back into mastering your part. You align with the contract's purpose. And in that alignment, paradoxically, you often accelerate the whole damn process. Because energetic resistance, like blame, resentment, shows frantic pushing, creates friction. Trust, it's pure lubrication for the soul. Think of it like baking a souffle. Stick with me. You can meticulously prepare your ingredients, your inner work. You can follow the recipe perfectly, your meditations, your healing. But if you yank open the oven door too soon, driven by impatience and the desperate need to see if it's risen, it collapses every time. The reunion souffle needs the full baking time specified in the recipe, the soul contract, undisturbed. Your job isn't to stare obsessively through the oven door, willing it to rise faster. It's to trust the heat, the process, the timing encoded in the recipe you both agreed to cook from. Your readiness is crucial, yes, but it's only one set of ingredients. The souffle rises when all elements, seen and unseen, are perfectly synchronized. So, the next time frustration bubbles up, whispering, "It shouldn't take this long, I'm ready." Zrenia, take a deep, soul-level breath. Ask instead, what deeper mastery might the universe and my own soul be asking of me right now? And could there be a sacred purpose in their journey that I'm not meant to rush? Because when you honor the co-created nature of this separation, when you stop fighting the contract and start collaborating with its higher purpose, you step into a profound flow. The pressure lifts, the blame dissolves, and you might just find a quiet, unexpected sense of peace settling in. But how do you know when your part of the contract is nearing completion? What subtle, almost mundane signs whisper that the final bolts on your side are secure and the bridge is quietly awaiting its other anchor? That's where the magic gets really interesting, and where the universe often sends its most surprising messengers. Let's shatter a mirror, shall we? The one you've been staring into, searching for their reflection in your own eyes. We've talked about your inner sovereignty, that sacred hum of wholeness that tunes your frequency. We've explored the soul contract, that cosmic script demanding both your signatures before the next act begins. But here you are, sovereign, trusting the contract. And still, crickets. The silence stretches, thick and heavy, and the old anxious question creeps back in. Seriously, universe? What's the holdup? Do I need to send a carrier pigeon? A skywriter? You've done the work, you feel ready, so where's the grand reunion entrance? Hold that thought, beautiful soul. What if the catalyst isn't hiding in your heart or theirs? What if it's already walking down the street towards you, disguised as your barista, a song on the radio, or even a sudden plumbing disaster? Buckle up, we're diving into the most delightfully bizarre, rarely acknowledged truth about ending the stalemate. The first move often isn't made by either twin. It's orchestrated by a divine agent, a spiritual gatekeeper. Think of it like celestial air traffic control. Two planes, you and your twin, are circling, fueled up, technically ready to land, reunion. But the skies are congested with old fears, lingering resentments, and the sheer vulnerability of finally touching down. Direct radio contact between the planes is staticky, hesitant. Who speaks first? The tension is palpable. Enter the tower, calm, unseen, operating on a higher frequency with a complete overview. The tower doesn't fly the planes. It doesn't force the landing. It simply sends a clear, unambiguous signal. Cleared for approach, runway 11L. Suddenly, the path is clear. The decision feels guided, supported, almost obvious. The tower is your spiritual gatekeeper. It's the universe's elegant bypass around the ego's intricate defense systems that keep you both looping in separation. This gatekeeper isn't a meddling third wheel in your love story. Forget jealous exes or karmic partners. This is pure, benevolent, divine intervention wearing everyday clothes. It operates through synchronicity, so potent it feels like a cosmic wink. It's the shared life event that hits you both like lightning. Not necessarily tragic, though it can be. Imagine both of you independently experiencing a profound career shift the same week, or a beloved family member passing, shaking your foundations simultaneously, or a sudden, inexplicable urge to visit the same obscure mountain town in the same month. It creates a vibrational shockwave, a shared opening in the fabric of your realities, making the idea of reconnection feel less like a leap and more like a natural step through a suddenly appearing door. The gatekeeper uses shared experience as a universal solvent for resistance. Sometimes, the gatekeeper works through an ordinary messenger carrying an extraordinary nudge. The stranger in the coffee line who turns and says, completely unprompted, "That book you're holding changed my life, helped me reconnect with someone important." And it's the book you've been using for your healing. These aren't coincidences. They're divine FedEx deliveries. The messenger usually has no idea they're playing cosmic postman. They're simply nudged by that tower, that higher frequency angel, to deliver a piece of information that dissolves the illusion of separation, making your subsequent first move feel serendipitous, destined, less terrifying. It provides the perfect, neutral excuse. Then there are the pure energy gatekeepers, the dreams, the signs, the downloads. You dream of a specific, extinct flower your grandmother loved. The next day, walking in a park you never visit, you see it painted on a bench. Later, you learn your twin spontaneously visited your grandmother's grave that same day. Or a song you both associated with your first meeting suddenly plays everywhere, in elevators, shops, even your dentist's waiting room, for a solid week. Or you get a sudden, overwhelming intuitive knowing, a voice in your gut that isn't yours, whispering, "Send the email." Now, these are direct transmissions from the tower, bypassing the logical mind entirely and speaking straight to the soul. They create an internal pressure, a quiet insistence that becomes impossible to ignore. They make the risk of reaching out feel divinely sanctioned. Why this elaborate cosmic charade? Because the gatekeeper understands human ego far better than we do. Think about it. If you decide out of the blue, after months or years of silence, to text, "Hey," your ego immediately floods you with fear. They'll think I'm desperate. What if they ignore me? What if they've moved on? This proves I'm weak. Similarly, if they reach out first, their ego screams, "You're caving. You look pathetic. What if they reject you now?" The gatekeeper dissolves this power struggle entirely. When the catalyst is an external event, the shared experience, a neutral messenger, or an undeniable sign, the first move loses its charge of vulnerability and neediness. It transforms. Calling after hearing they were in an accident? That's human concern, not weakness. Texting because a mutual friend mentioned they asked about you? That's just polite follow-up, right? Responding to a dream so vivid it feels like a directive? That's spiritual obligation. The gatekeeper provides the perfect alibi for the ego, allowing the soul's true desire for reconnection to flow through, unimpeded by fear. It makes the reunion feel fated, effortless, like the universe itself is rolling out the red carpet. So stop straining your eyes looking for them on the horizon. Start paying fierce attention to the seemingly random, the mildly inconvenient, the beautifully odd occurrences unfolding around you. That song, that strange comment from the cashier, that sudden urge to clean out your attic where you find that old photo, that unexpected job offer in their city, that dream that woke you gasping. Don't dismiss them as background noise. These aren't just coincidences. They might be the gatekeeper's gentle, or not so gentle, taps on your shoulder, setting the stage, aligning the players, preparing the script for the next scene. The universe isn't ignoring your readiness. It's meticulously arranging the perfect entrance, one that allows both of you to walk back towards each other with grace, not grasping neediness. The first move you've been agonizing over might simply be your willingness to recognize the gatekeeper's key turning in the lock and to turn the handle. But how do you distinguish a true gatekeeper signal from wishful thinking? And what do you do when you recognize one? That's where your sovereignty meets divine synchronicity, and the magic truly ignites. So, beautiful soul, here you stand, not at the end of a path, but at the threshold of a profound understanding. We've wandered through the silent chambers of your own sovereignty, that inner fortress where wholeness isn't a destination, but the very ground you stand upon. We've peered into the sacred architecture of a contract written in starlight and soul ink, signed by both of you long before the curtain rose on this lifetime's drama. And we've laughed, or maybe winced, at the cosmic couriers, the baristas, the plumbing disasters, the hauntingly specific songs, who arrive not by accident, but as divine emissaries, keys jingling in their pockets, ready to unlock the stalemate. The agonizing question, who makes the first move, hasn't vanished, but hopefully its sharp edges have softened, its weight lightened. Because you see now, don't you? It was always the wrong question. The real movement, the profound shift that ends the separation winter, isn't a frantic gesture across the void. It's the quiet, tectonic settling within your own being. It's the moment your internal landscape shifts from seeking completion out there to radiating completeness right here. That internal alignment, that sacred stillness born of sovereignty, is the true clarion call echoing across the dimensions. It's the silent language the soul understands perfectly. And that soul contract, it's not a prison sentence. Think of it as the intricate choreography of a celestial dance. Your part isn't just steps, it's the embodiment of the rhythm, the deep listening to the music only your soul can fully hear. You don't rush the other dancer. You trust the composition. You master your movements with grace, knowing their part requires a different tempo, a unique flourish. The dance resumes not when one partner tugs the other back, but when both have internalized the score, when their individual mastery harmonizes into the next breathtaking sequence. The separation wasn't a breakdown. It was the space needed to learn the deeper steps. As for those delightful, baffling gatekeepers, they aren't cosmic puppeteers jerking strings. They're more like masterful stagehands in the grand theater of your becoming. They dim the distracting house lights so you can see the subtle cues. They nudge a prop into place at the perfect moment. They might even whisper a forgotten line just when the silence threatens to swallow you. Their intervention isn't about forcing a reunion, it's about removing the obstacles your beautiful, messy human egos erected out of fear. They create the conditions where reaching out feels less like a terrifying gamble and more like the most natural, inevitable thing in the world, like breathing after holding your breath for too long. They make space for the miracle to feel ordinary and profound. So, release the burden of initiation. Stop straining your eyes towards their distant shore. Turn your gaze inward. Tend your own radiant garden. Cultivate that sovereignty like the rarest, most precious bloom. Honor the sacred timing etched in your soul's contract. Do your part with fierce, gentle dedication, and trust theirs is unfolding exactly as needed. And then, open your eyes. Really open them to the world humming around you, to the seemingly random melody drifting from a passing car, to the stranger's offhand comment that lands like a feather with unexpected weight, to the dream that lingers upon waking, vivid and insistent. This is where the universe speaks, not in thunderclaps, but in whispers woven into the fabric of the everyday. The silence you perceive, it's not emptiness. It's the fertile ground where your transformation takes root. It's the space between musical notes that makes the melody. It's the pause before the next breath. Your reunion isn't a desperate lunge across a chasm. It's the natural, graceful unfurling of two sovereign beings, guided by a love far wiser than fear, orchestrated by an intelligence far grander than worry, and often heralded by the most wonderfully mundane messengers. The waiting is the becoming, and the becoming, it's breathtaking. You are not stranded. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. You are being met in ways your logical mind might dismiss. But your soul recognizes instantly. The question isn't who makes the first move. It's, are you ready to recognize the universe's move when it arrives, disguised as your own life? Because that seemingly ordinary moment charged with extraordinary meaning, that's where your next chapter begins. And trust me, the universe has a flair for entrances you won't want to miss. The real adventure starts after the reunion, but that is a story for another dawn. For now, breathe, trust, bloom, and keep your eyes delightfully open. The next ordinary miracle is already on its way.